Good evening, and we're live on Paranormal Path Peeps. And how you doing, Lois?
I'm doing absolutely fine, Jacqueline. I'm glad that you're back. I missed you last week.
I'm glad I'm back. I've been in the play. I was absolutely worn out doing rehearsals every week, night, and for weeks, basically. So yay, it's nice to chat to everyone, nice to see everyone, and get back to paranormal, which is brilliant. So tonight's guests are Wandering Spirits. So there's three in the team. There's Sarah, Chris, and Andy. And shall we say hello to Chris?
Hello, Chris.
Hello. Hello, Lois. Hello, Jacqueline. I see you all again.
And hello
Hey,
to
Robbie.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Hiya.
Now, it's the first time that Chris and Sarah's actually been guests, so really looking forward to this and totally honoured. I've investigated a few times with Sarah and Chris, and yeah, it's brilliant. We have a laugh and just great energy whenever we do anything, and we usually get quite a lot of activity between us as well. So,
We do.
shall we start off then with where it all started for you, Chris? When did you first realise that there might be something else other than
Um,
norm?
well, funny enough, I had my first experience as a young child. Really, I was the school I was at, Hardwick Square School at Buxton, was a bit weird, and I didn't realise at the time. Uh, but when I was about 10 years old, I had this horrible experience of a ghastly white face appearing through the wall beside me, and when I was in bed, and it literally come out with this extraordinarily loud laugh, and as if it was laughing at me, sort of thing. And so I shot out of the bed, went running to my parents' room, and they said, "Oh, you had a nightmare," sort of thing. Go back to bed, and of course that's the last thing I wanted to do then. But and
Yeah.
took me literally weeks and weeks to sort of recover after that, and and uh, and 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 after that, really, I was I had many an incident after that, really, and so whether that's generated it or I don't know, but anyway, that was my first experience, and I can still see that horrible ghastly face poking through
Oh
the
my
wall today,
gosh.
even
Mm,
though it was 50 years ago now.
wow. It must have been so horrible that you couldn't actually talk to anyone about it.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, it was. It was, and I didn't realise till much later that my mum was very sensitive as well. She was always seeing
Um,
ghosts and things, and but of course I never realised. At the time till it was too late, sort of thing, really.
oh, bless you.
Oh, wow.
So she just told you to go to bed, and she really didn't want you to know or be able
Yeah,
to
yeah,
experience it.
possibly. Yeah, she just says, "Oh, it's nothing. Go back to bed. You just had a bad dream."
Wow.
Wow.
It'd be so different if, like, obviously it's a different era, wasn't it?
Oh
Like
yeah,
we wouldn't have
yeah,
spoken about
yeah.
stuff like that when I was a child.
No,
So, you
no,
didn't
no. There was
until like
no
Most Haunted Days, I think was
that.
probably the
That's
first
right.
time, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
It's
gosh.
but
So you had to wait
so that was
years
mine.
really before you could actually find like-minded
Y-
people.
yes, yeah, and I always seem to go when I were working for the Derbyshire County Council, sort of thing. I was working in and all sorts of old buildings and things, and
Wow.
I was seeing some very strange stuff there, and didn't even connect that it was something paranormal more than anything, really, until later on, and then everything sort of seemed to make sense all of a sudden.
Oh, okay. And that's really fascinating though, to actually sort of get that, and it's just something you've got no idea about, or you
Yeah,
just have to keep
yeah, it's
quiet, isn't it,
yeah,
really?
yeah, and
Mhm.
yeah, and I've had so many experiences, and of course, when you're in a working environment, you can't really say to people, "Oh, I've seen such and such," because they think you're absolutely mental, and so you basically have to just keep it to yourself at the time, But yeah,
It must have been a relief
yeah.
for
So
you. It must have been a relief for you,
yes, it
Chris, when
was.
you could,
It
be
it
able to
was
speak
always
about
actually,
it.
yeah. I must admit, yeah, it certainly changed my whole vista of life, sort of thing, when I started finding people that had similar experiences, and opens up a whole new life for you.
Yeah, and that's the
It
fact
certainly
that
does.
and you can actually talk about it without people going, really? Do you want to go see
Yeah,
a doctor?
that's right.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
it helps a
Oh
bit.
wow.
I mean, you find that nowadays, like, I've found, like, most cases, like, where I've been working and people say, oh, what do you do outside the working all day? Well, when I used to do the paranormal, and I would say, oh, I'm a paranormal investigator. And they, oh, that's great. Can we sit and talk about it? And then they start firing questions at you, have you seen anything? What's it like? And it's just like, oh,
Oh yeah, you get lots of that, don't you? Yeah, that's the thing actually. Yeah, when I mean now I've started work again. Actually, I thought I'd retired, but now I've gone back into work again. And lucky enough, the place where I'm working now is quite haunted as well. And
oh wow.
I thought at the time, I thought should it. I've seen quite a few weird things there already, and I've only been there since September. And I thought I were a bit tentative to say anything to him, but I sort of mentioned what I'd seen, and I found out that quite a few people have seen the same things there as well.
Oh, that's
Oh wow.
fantastic.
So it's yeah, so it's quite it's quite a relief actually being able to work in a haunted place and know that other people are seeing what you're seeing.
That's it. Van said parents never believed a lot of us, and I
That
Yeah.
is actually
didn't.
true.
I didn't have a clue. I'd be too scared to see a ghost. I really would. So I
Yeah,
think that's probably why I wasn't shown
yeah.
anything. So Sarah, how'd you follow
Yeah.
that then? What was your first encounter?
Well, rather ironically, it was when I was a child.
Oh, that's
Um,
brilliant.
absolutely. And I was visited for every night for a week in the month of October. And I was visited by a man with a bright red face, really, really red, a burnt red face. And he used to just stand in the middle of the bedroom looking at me.
Oh, okay.
And he did it one year, and I kept it to myself. But then it happened next year,
Right.
and I told my dad, and my dad is really grounded person, and he didn't say anything, but he put a picture of himself on my bedroom wall facing the bedroom door, and from then on he left the landing light on, and he told the picture to keep the man away. And then many years later, I said to my dad, why did you put your picture there? And he said it it was the guy who lived in the house before we moved in, and he worked down a pit, and decided to hand his notice in because it was too dangerous, because he was to do with the detonators.
Oh
And on
gosh.
his last day of work, he got blown up down the mine, down the pit. And my dad always had this theory that he used to just come back that week every year, and he put the
Yeah.
picture up to protect me.
Oh my
Oh wow.
gosh. I see.
Yeah, so it was only years and years later that I plucked up the kind of courage to say to my dad, what was it?
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. Yeah, because obviously we've said about anniversary ghosts and things like that, and you had one, didn't you?
Absolutely. I mean, the house is always fine apart from that one week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing. So, how did you meet then? So you
Oh,
set
I
up
know,
one for the
Chris.
spirits. So
Yeah. We actually met at Treat Cliff Cavern. I don't know if you remember, Chris.
yeah.
I do. Yeah. It's very entertaining night that way, weren't it?
It was a very
That was the
entertaining
old.
night.
Yeah. That was when. Well. I was with the. It was called Haunted Company then. The old
Right.
events company from Wordsworth, and
Uh-huh.
I was doing a bit of. I started going on events with them. And then I sort of fell into helping them out with events, and luckily enough, they got this really local one to me, Tree Cliff Cavern, doing a paranormal night there, and lucky enough, Sarah and Andy came along to that first visit there.
Oh
You
my
know,
gosh.
and we sort of twigged straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really weird evening though, because it was really, really windy. I mean, it was really gusting. And of course, to go to the Treat Cliff, you have to walk up this long path up a field from this car park down at the bottom, which is literally a lay-by. And I was clinging on to Andy so that I wouldn't get blown over by the wind, because I felt like I was going to get blown over. And there was a metal railing about halfway up the hill. And I let go of Andy to hold onto the metal railing. And I looked round and Andy had disappeared.
No.
He'd actually got blown over and he'd got flipped
Yeah.
down onto the hill.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I
Damn,
got
No way.
visions of
darn
him
steep
being
hill
down
as
in the
well.
lay-by. Yeah. So we got, he recovered himself beautifully. And we clung to that rail to get up to the top. And we're met by all of them who were completely unaware about all this. Obviously, I met Chris and all the rest of us. We had a fantastic evening. But then the next day, I got admitted to hospital
Oh.
Oh.
because I've been bitten by a spider in my ear and I've got cellulitis.
Oh
Oh,
God.
Jesus, no. What an amazing night then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
it was very memorable.
Oh
But do you
wow.
guys just not
Pro-
love that
pro-
sort of weather? I used to love it. I used to call it the Blair Witch weather. See, when it was absolutely, I mean, the rain pelting. Oh, I used to love the nights. I didn't mind getting soaked because it just kind of reminded me,
Yeah.
this is the good weather.
Yeah,
In my eyes, for a night out in investigation, the gusty winds and the rain. Oh,
But yeah, it was lovely to meet Chris. And then
yeah.
we
Well,
obviously chatted then via
Tree
Facebook.
Cliff.
Yeah,
Tree Cliff is one of the old Blue John caverns,
Yeah.
where they mine Blue John. So you literally go down and there's literally no peripheral light or anything there. You know, it's
God.
totally black. And and they turned all the lights out for us as well. So we were all going down by torchlight. And yeah, so it was yeah, I don't think we had encountered anything ghostly, but we had quite a lot of elemental stuff.
Oh, I
So
bet,
it was
yeah.
quite an interesting place. But yeah, but I'm
Mm.
certainly glad I went that night anyway. Although I probably wouldn't have met Sarah and Andy anywhere really, you know.
No.
So
I
yeah,
think you probably would have met them later on though. Because I think
yes, I
when
think
you
so.
start,
Yeah,
when you start doing this, you do tend to meet people and get to know people
yeah,
at various places, don't you? And I think you
you
two were
do.
destined,
Yeah,
well, you three as well with Andy were destined to meet because you worked so well
Definitely.
yeah,
together.
yeah.
And
well, look at
yeah,
us, Jack. We've been good friends for what, about
I don't know, ages,
3, 4 year,
maybe
5
4, yeah,
maybe.
that's it. It's
But
definitely long before COVID, wasn't it? I
it
was already
was
doing Haunted Antique shows by then, so
Oh
Wow, it
right,
was
I mean,
yeah,
ages
yeah,
ago,
of
yeah.
course, yeah,
I must admit the Paranormal was
yeah, it was,
brilliant for
yeah,
that, for meeting a load of people,
Oh, yeah.
and I've met some great people doing this. I mean, wee Vonnie in the chat, I love wee
yeah,
Vonnie bits,
See,
and
Michelle Smith
you
I've met as
yeah,
well. Like, I
it's
don't know, we
definitely
found each other online and we've met a few times, and I've been on Haunted Heritage
yeah,
events, what Michelle runs, and then, she's
yeah.
been to Haunted
Well,
Antiques with me and
well,
stuff, so yeah.
they, they, they were the ones I first started going with. I think actually haunted heritage, but I did done quite a few
You
haunted
want
heritage
Andy to
events.
wave,
Yeah. Oh, it's
Michelle?
Yeah,
Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
there's Andy.
Nice to
So
see you.
Andy's in the Andy's also in Wandering Spirits, but hiding away a bit. But yeah, there you go then, Michelle. Just for you. Yeah, we did. We met in Wollerton Park, Michelle, which was amazing, wasn't it? The dogs met each other. Oops, a daisy. What can I say? And then I met Von on Barry's lessons, as did you. But I met Von through Haunted Antiques because Von used to
Thank,
watch the
thanks,
shows,
Yvonne.
and now we've been to see
Yeah,
Von as well. So yeah, it's just a
yeah.
nice world. Well, it can be a positive world, can't it?
Oh,
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
lovely.
yeah. I think I've had more positive out of it than the negative,
definitely,
really.
Von.
But,
Yeah. To be honest, I think it's what you strive in. Like, yeah, there's people who sort of do a lot of negative. We don't want to get onto soapbox here, but you
No.
get onto negativity, and they're just like
yeah,
get a thrill out of it, don't they? But I'm just like, I'm not going
yeah.
that direction. Let's go that one out the way,
Yeah.
Aye,
And
they do.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just
Dra-
Definitely.
drama llamas.
yeah, I've not heard of him for a while.
Oh, he's actually showed his wee head up.
Oh, has he? I've not seen him.
Yep.
I got blocked.
So,
I've got banned from him because I was on a channel.
oh,
Yeah, he didn't like me. But
so
anyway,
do you guys like have a favorite place, a favorite location that you like going to?
No,
Ooh.
it's completely random where we go each time. We never
yeah.
actually plan too much in advance.
No.
It's usually a case of Chris turns up with his rucksack and we get in the car, and it depends which way the car points, doesn't it, really, Chris?
It does. It does really. Yeah. Yeah. I think a few weeks back, I was on the bus travelling towards Bakewell, and we came through Eam,
Oh wow.
just as we passed Eam Mall, something says to me, we need to go there. So as soon as I got down to Bakewell, I don't think we got a solid plan that day. So I said, "Oh, we'll try Eam Hall," and that turned out to be quite an interesting day. That did. So,
It
So,
was, yeah.
so for people watching, we might have people in the US watching as well. Can you tell people what EM is? EM. I call it EM. You
Eam,
call it EM. You're from Derbyshire.
Eam, Eam's a plague village where they had they had a dose of the Black Plague in 1665, and all the good people of that village, at the behest of the vicar, Montpesson, they decided to isolate themselves from the rest of the countryside so that it wouldn't spread into the local area. And basically by doing that sacrifice, they managed to hold the plague from travelling any further north. Really, it didn't get much further north than that, because that little village just held the plague off, just held it in the village all for a year or so, and virtually about 2/3 of them died of the plague. So it's really a very atmospheric village to go and visit. Very haunted as well. I've had quite a few
Yeah.
experiences in Eam, and I'm lucky enough. I only live Well, I'm about a 3 hour walk. I can walk to it in 3 hours from my house. So,
Oh,
or
wow.
or an half an hour bus ride. But yeah, so very very lucky around here. Really, it's quite a haunted area I'm in now. So
Yeah, that's brilliant.
yeah, Eam. Yeah, that's it, Yvonne.
Yeah. I never thought to call it Ian, but I'm from Nottingham. I'm over the border, so I can call it Ian. Thank you. What do you call it, Lois?
Well,
EYAM.
I have no idea.
So we call it
It-
and Lois calls it no idea.
yeah,
See, I'm always
it,
weird to pronounce places because I generally some
yeah,
words I actually generally can't say. Like
oh, yeah.
it's quite funny
It,
because I try and say specific and I can't even say it.
it was when I went up to Oldmouth and Oldmouth is pronounced Oldmouth, but when you get to Oldwick,
Annick.
it's Annick. Yeah,
Annick, yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
and I know I'm getting quite confused up there.
I can
But
remember
yeah,
where, like, there's, to anyone watching, there's a hotel called the Schooner in Annick
yeah,
or
yeah.
Alnwick, and it's in
That
Yeah.
Northumberland.
Oldmouth,
Now,
Oldmouth. Yeah, that's
it's
the one.
funny
That's the one I
because
stayed in.
Chris went and stayed in there, and it was just putting stuff on his Facebook every
Yeah.
day, and it was just making me cry. It really was. Because you
Oh my
basically arrived at
God!
this hotel, didn't you?
What
And
an experience that were.
what was it? What happened
Yeah,
then? You just couldn't
yeah,
get in, could you?
yeah.
Excited.
I'm
No,
actually
I was a bit late getting up there. I got held up in Newcastle, and I was due at Chillingham Castle that weekend.
oh
So
wow.
I decided to stay in an Oldmouth overnight, sort of thing, because specifically because of the haunted hotel reputation.
Yeah.
But when I got there was nobody there. The place was shut, and I thought, oh, well, this is a bit bad. And so I stood outside, and one of the locals come and rattled the door, and he says, oh, I'll get you in. I said, no, don't bother. He says, no, 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 and he rattled the door, got me in. He says, your key will be on that desk there, he says. And I said, sure. I says, you have to set a burglar alarm off, have you? You know, and because he virtually pushed the door open by force, like this chap. Anyway, he says, no, he says they do this all the time. He says, and so anyway, I went in, got the key, found my room. There was literally nobody in the hotel. I literally walked all the way around the top floor, and nobody there. And the only room that was done up at the time was the room I was in, and it was under quite a bit of renovation. And so so anyway, I put my head down, sort of thing, and about 1 o'clock in the morning, I heard this man and a woman talking outside the room, and I thought, oh, thank God for that, somebody's turned up. So 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 I opened the door, went into the corridor, and couldn't see anybody. Walked all around the hotel again. No, couldn't see anybody at all. Thought that's odd. That's odd. And I thought it must have been somebody out on the street outside, sort of thing. So I went back to bed. But another hour later, same man and woman talking, exact same conversation, but they were slightly closer this time. So I thought, well, that's odd. And it was just the same mundane conversation, you know. It would go, and she would go, and it was exactly the same as I'd heard before. And so I went out again. I thought, well, somebody must have turned up now,
I'm
and
crying.
walked all around the hotel again. Nobody there. And 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard that exact same conversation again, but it was right outside the door. And I thought, oh, I'm not even going to bother opening the door. so, but and then the next morning, the people who run the place, it was an Indian restaurant. They turned up, and the next night there was absolutely nothing at all. when so I was spending 2 nights there. I was dreading the next night, but I didn't get anything at all on the second night. It was I had the soundest night's sleep I've had in a good while. So
Wow. Yeah. Now after
it
that, I
was but it was a
decided
very odd stay that was in that little place. So really
Yeah, I
spooky
decided to
hotel that
stay.
first night anyway.
Yeah, after your trek, I decided to go up there, and I stayed there for one night. I was camping, so I left the tent on a site, and then went to the hotel with the dog. So I got a really not a brilliant room, but I had a dog, so you're not going to get, they do restrict where you can go. And we were just in a little room off a bar, and the dog was growling at someone, and I picked up on this bloke who's got a monocle over his eye. So I picked up
Oh
on this
right,
bloke, and the dog
I wasn't
started growling at
surprised.
a chair, which is good. But
Yeah.
it's a great
That
if you get chance.
that breakfast bar downstairs was very spooky actually as well. That was there was definitely something in there where the because I found out I walked into this breakfast room and they'd actually left a loaf of bread out and a toaster. So I had to get myself a piece of toast and that was breakfast. But yeah, very odd place.
I can't remember. That's funny, that is. So, Sarah, what's your weirdest experience you've had then?
Oh, crikey. That's a really tricky question, isn't it, Jacqueline?
Sorry, what's
Well, let's recount our last one, and this is why you invited us along. We first created Wandering Spirits. We went on our first work there in Shining Cliff Wood, and obviously that's a local favourite, isn't it, for people to go to?
Yes, it used to be, Sarah.
It did.
So hasn't it, Sarah?
Yes, it did. But myself and Chris came down the other week, and we hadn't got any plans, and I suddenly said to Andy, can you go and pick Chris up from the bus station? So off he toddled to the bus station. By the time he'd come back, I thought Andy had come back home without Chris. Well, Chris was stood behind Andy, and it absolutely freaked me out. I've never jumped that hard in all my life, and poor Chris was in hysterics, and Andy was in hysterics. And I knew at this point something was going to happen that day. So I said to Chris, we've never been to see the Betty Kenny tree. We always said we would, and we never have been to see the Betty Kenny tree. And 4 years ago, the first time we went there, I printed off this little map of how to get to the Betty Kenny tree. So we then got in the car, and we looked. This Mini was parked in front of us, and we all said, "Oh, look at that woman in the front seat there." And this woman, she was pulling faces, she was smiling, she was smirking, and all of a sudden there was a man next to her in the car seat, there was a dog in the back seat, and they were interacting with each other. There was nobody in the car.
Wow.
Yeah,
that happened. We sat there transfixed for about 10 minutes. And I said, right, we'll get off now. We'll get off to Shining Cliff and we'll go and find the Betty Kenny tree. So off we toddled. And you know that house that's right on the edge of the wood there on the right, that's always boarded up?
Yeah.
Before you get to the wireworks.
Yes.
Somebody's actually pulled a lot of the things down so you can actually get inside it now. Well, that was absolutely freaking me out. For some reason, being in there was freaking me out. Chris was having hysterics. Andy, bless his heart, was trying to be supportive, but he thought it was a bit entertaining as well that I was freaked out. And then we carried on up the path. Now, it's not that well signposted, the Betty Kenny tree, so it's no wonder nobody can ever It's no wonder nobody can ever find it. Also, they've chopped all the forest from around it, so it all looks like the Betty Kenny tree. Every single stump looks like it could be the Betty Kenny tree. Anyway, eventually Andy found it. We went and sat up there, and it was lovely and peaceful there. And as you know, with the Betty Kenny tree, it's to do with the lullaby, the nursery rhyme, Rockabye Baby, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because it was this, I mean, the Betty Kenny tree was a yew tree. It was 2,000 years old before they even lived in it. And it was hollow at that point.
Wow.
So we're talking a very old mystical tree in a very mystical area.
Oh, wow.
And the story goes that obviously she had a lot of children. Was it 6 or 7, Chris? I can't remember.
It was 8.
8.
She had 8 children, and apparently one of the children was buried underneath it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But the story, the nursery rhyme came because she was arrested, and they'd hollowed out her brow to put the babies in as a crib to keep them safe and off the ground. Anyway, the baby did get killed and all the rest of it, and fingers were pointed, but the nursery rhyme came around. Anyway, we sat up there for about an hour. It was absolutely lovely. And then we went to get the path down, and it was like bouldering, wasn't it, Chris? The path had become completely flooded. So we're walking down this stream.
I've tried to walk up that stream, maybe.
I think you probably did.
Before.
It would have taken you there eventually, Jackie, but you would have got very muddy and very wet at the top.
It was getting worse.
Yes.
The higher you got, the more water was coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, you're on the right path then. Yeah.
Oh,
you were on the right path. You didn't go far enough. Anyway, we ended up going to Hurst House, obviously, because that's a go-to place, which you can still actually get in should you want to. We didn't want to because it's just too unsafe. But when we decided not to walk back down the path, we decided to go through the forest and pop out down at the bottom of the wireworks. Andy went down to find the way, and me and Chris were bumbling around as we do, looking at things. And down at the bottom, there's a wall, and it's covered in mud. Chris had slid down the wall on his bottom, and it's completely covered in mud. And I was holding on to this tree branch, and with the aim that I was going to lower myself down the wall without having to put my bum down on the mud to slide down the wall. The next minute, there was this huge ripping sound, like somebody had physically ripped a big branch off a tree. It had fallen, bounced onto the floor, clattering amongst all the vegetation, at which time Andy and Chris, who were in front of me, were now behind me, and I was out on the road. Because I was not waiting to see what I brought that branch down, I can tell you for now. And Andy didn't say anything, but Chris, you did, didn't you, Chris?
I did, yeah. Literally saw it. It wasn't like a branch just dropped. It was as if something literally pulled it down, and it were very odd thing. It was but I thinking about it afterwards, you know, I felt very uneasy when we were up at the tree. Actually, I kept thinking there was something up there watching us, right up there, you know, and
I need to go.
And the whole kilt of the place was out. Yeah.
But I just looked at Chris because I was hyperventilating by this stage out on the road, and said to Chris, "When the bow breaks."
Yeah. We never twigged. Well, big twig.
Twigged. Never twigged.
but it was very strange. Very strange. Oh, I'd seen. Go on.
And then, to add insult to injury, the spot I normally get stuck at, I got stuck to the railings and I couldn't get off.
Oh, you
Oh,
did?
God.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was the same thing that happened to you about was it 4 years ago when we first went,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and it was just me and you there, weren't it? And I took you off down the wrong path, and something was literally holding Sarah back and trying to push you down the other path, and I was going, no, it's up this path here, and I was totally wrong, and something was holding her back to redirect her down the path, and virtually the same thing happened again. So
Wow.
so
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I thought that was very curious. That was very odd.
Yeah.
But,
I
I'd seen a shadow figure as well outside the old hall. Um, as I was, I must admit, we did sort of squeeze through the French and just walk around the perimeter of the building. And just as we were walking past the old tree, I saw literally a great big shadow walk across the wall and head off into the direction where this tree was. So I think something must have come out of out of the building, old curse, and that she got over to the other side of the wood, and just as we were getting off the land, it broke the tree just to persuade us to move a bit faster.
wow.
It totally
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, it
Do
was
you think that
very
was just that,
curious.
like a warning
Yeah,
sign?
we
Like
did.
that was a
Yeah,
protection?
yeah,
It is amazing what ancient woodland is there, isn't it?
yeah. I'm thinking that it was sort of it was sort of now get off my land sort of thing, and by pulling this
Yeah.
pretty big branch down, and yeah,
We'll
yeah,
have to get up
Well,
when we
and
pray.
yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, because I went up with my dog and a friend, and I was Staffy, and he could see them, and where you get Oakhurst Hall, man, or whatever. He's looking in the big
yeah,
window, and he saw something in there and just started barking at it. And I was using the
Mm.
pendulum as well, and
yeah, yeah. That
I
that
got
that'll be the same window, I should imagine.
I
Yeah,
got the first person who moved into there because they asked who it was. I asked the date and stuff like that, and I hadn't seen the date on the wall. I knew it was there, but I wasn't aware of it. And he moved in a year after the date on the building. That's what
Mm.
he told me, and it was a gentleman I met, and
yeah.
yeah, I had a quite interesting conversation with the pendulum. But yeah, the dog did have an issue with something in that
Ah,
window. So yeah.
do you guys do you prefer the
yeah,
old school
yeah,
method or
yeah.
the your method?
You go first,
Uh,
Chris.
I, I, I must admit, I don't use any equipment at all. I just use my sensors really. I used to do quite a bit of pendulum stuff and dowsing rods, but I'm even getting to the stage now where I don't bother with pendulums or anything now or either. What I'll do, I tend to feel I get like a headache if there's anything spirity around, sort of thing. I'll get an initial headache. Uh, occasionally feel stuff behind me, sort of thing, But I've never really used equipment at all. But I know Sarah and Andy have used flares and
They're brilliant.
the
Yeah.
what's it thing, the little stick
Yeah,
men
Celeste.
camera
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and that they've always been interesting watching that stuff. But I myself personally, I've never had much luck with equipment. But
And pendulums go missing then, do they? When Daddy needs
Apparently
it.
so.
yeah, yeah, that was very strange. Yeah, yeah. I was sat in the gallery one day on an investigation with haunted heritage, and it literally did. It literally did go out of me pocket. Yeah.
Oh wow! I was going to mention the Derby Museum because I couldn't see it, but you two could. But we went on a haunted heritage event. Michelle was there with
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
and we went to this room and it had a Egyptian mummy in it. And you two saw a cat, didn't you?
No, Jacqueline, it
Egyptian
was
cat.
Andy. It
Oh,
was
Andy.
actually Andy who saw it. We were actually doing some pendulum and some rod work over the mummies,
Yeah.
and we were getting a lot of sensations. Myself and Chris was, but Andy was, as you know, doesn't communicate as such with spirit, and that's his choice. And we appreciate that,
That's fine.
and
Yeah.
we take that into consideration. And he is part of Wandering Spirits, but he could see towering above the both of us a huge
Egyptian cat, isn't it? Whatever.
an Anubis. So it was
Anubis.
it was an
Wow.
Anubis, and it stood and towered above us, and it did actually make its way back here to our home. We've actually got an owl, funnily enough, in the kitchen on top of the unit. It's one used for scaring things in your garden. So
Oh,
wow.
it hoots. It reacts to movement and it hoots to scare whatever's there away. And this particular day, Andy had gone out, and for some reason the owl kept hooting. And then later on, when he returned, we could clearly hear doors being opened, pushed open in the house, when actually they were all wedged shut.
Oh wow.
wow.
And we could sense it was this same animal. And eventually it followed Andy through HAPRC.
Oh, okay. Didn't realise
Yeah.
that one.
Yes, that was when we were there with Michelle and yourself and who else was Phil was there
Phil
as
Newton.
well. Phil
Oh.
Newton was there as well. And that was a weird night, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. Very odd. Yeah. That's some
Yeah.
really odd nights there,
It
haven't
was
we?
a very, very weird night. And yeah, in fact, in the end, Andy did tell the Anubis to go back to Derby Museum. So we would like to go back to Derby Museum. In fact, it's back there.
Yeah. So Michelle, if you let us know, and then we'll all go visit the Anubis. I get enough following me. I don't want that in my house.
I previously had a very strange event with that with the mummified cat at Derby Museum.
Yes, you did.
That was with Haunted Heritage, and we were using EMF meters and things and getting responses, and we were picking up that the mummies were missing the cat, and we're going, cat?
Wow.
That's really odd. What do you mean? Anyway, we said to the curator later on, this is going to sound very strange, but your mummies are missing their cat, and they said at the time, oh, that's really odd because we have got a mummified cat, but it's on loan to Liverpool Museum at the moment. And so it was literally gone out of the museum, and it is back now. It is back in Derby Museum, the mummified cat.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so that I think that's where the cat thing came from. But yeah, that was an odd little scenario. That was, yeah.
It's crazy.
But, yeah. It's amazing what turns up, isn't it? You know, it's you sort of sense these things, and you think, well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not even going to mention it because you look a right idiot, don't you? You think you look a right idiot, but I've learned since that anything really ridiculous that comes into my head, I'll sort of say it, mention it, because there's usually some sort of ulterior motive for it coming into your head. I always find now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you got a place in
Yeah.
the world that you would love to explore? If somebody said to you, Chris, Sarah, I'll give you an opportunity to go and explore somewhere, what place would you go and explore? It could be anywhere across the world.
It'd have to be Gettysburg for me.
Oh, wow.
Agreed.
Lovely.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
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 We have spoken about it actually, but it's never going to happen.
No.
Never
No.
say never.
No. It's, yeah. But
You never know.
I'm quite a believer in past lives and things like that, and
Oh, I
and
love past
when
lives.
and when I was a child, apparently I was absolutely besotted with everything American Civil War, and
Oh,
my mum,
okay.
you know, I mean, I'm saying when I'm 3 or 4 years old, this way, you know, and my mum used to say, I apparently used to be lying on the ground drawing little battle scenes from
Oh, wow.
with the Confederate flags on and that when it was 3 or 4, you know, so
Interesting.
so yeah, so I've always thought I've perhaps had a past life. Well, I know I know I've had a couple before that as well, because I've always had this very it's a really violent dream. I've not had it a lot, but I was stood by a river somewhere, and all of a sudden, two men with axes came along, and literally just struck me down.
Oh,
And
wow.
Wow.
and
Okay.
and I'm always assuming that they're sort of past life memories, you know. So
Definitely,
so
it could
it's
be, Chris.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
I'll have to sort
big
you
believer
out.
in that.
I know a person who can help on past life regressions.
Robbie.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
one.
I'd love
Yeah.
to have a go at that actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
I'd like to
yes,
do
yes. Of
that.
course, you you had quite an event in Nottingham, didn't you? Apparently, with a past life with King, was it King John?
It's got worse, Chris. It's
Oh,
worse than
did.
that.
All
No, I've had two
right.
past lives now in Nottingham.
Yeah.
That was nothing compared to the latest one.
Right.
Yeah, I've been involved in my play recently, so I've had to put that on the back burner. But I've got a past life. I'm going to put it on. It's quite shocking, but it all ties in with the Robin Hood experience, and it all ties in.
Oh, right.
Um,
Yeah.
this one was about 1800s. My first past life in Nottingham was 1200s. So my first past life, I was in the Robin Hood legacy. That's where I lived, or the land around there. The second past life, I actually met the guy who haunts the Robin Hood legacy in my past life.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And that was actually picked up
Wow.
on a show. I did a show on PAF a while ago. I don't know if Patricia's still watching, but when I mentioned my past life, Patricia actually picked up that I was only in Nottingham.
Oh, my
And
God.
yes, I was. But I need to finish that past life
Yeah.
out because I just quit when I was doing the past life. I was in the court and I bailed out. I couldn't do it. I, yeah, it's a
Crikey.
freaky reason I couldn't carry on because I just kind of wondered, like, if you're in a past life and you're going back, are you actually going back to that time period where they're there and they're with you, or is it just a vision? You know, because I didn't
Yeah.
want to give the
Yeah.
judge the satisfaction of finding me guilty,
Yeah.
so I didn't
And it
want to go
does,
through with it.
I mean, it's past life style explain a lot. Like,
Mm.
maybe why certain smells, certain people, certain places, you know, and I've found that obviously I'm fascinated with witchcraft. I love witchcraft, and I looked at the darker side, and I was reading all about it and things like that, and I'm thinking I've got an attraction here, and I don't understand why. and I'd done a past
Yeah.
life regression, and I discovered that I was actually a child witch that was tortured and burned, and I came back as a black witch and put a curse on the village.
Right. Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it
That
is.
is, it really does. It is. It's quite one of those ones.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was always fearful of doing one because if you were a serial killer or if you had a really bad past life,
Yeah.
it's like how you could live with your past life now. So I never wanted to do it. And then one night I wasn't doing anything paranormal, and Denise Mott was actually doing a past life regression at Derby Jail. I thought, oh, let's go out. I don't want to stay in. Let's go. So I did, and that's where I had my first one done. But this time I did want to find out about meeting this spirit from Robin Hood, and that's a past life which went through. And at the moment, both of my past lives have been really horrible. I just but yeah, but it's something you definitely need to both have a go at. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
I would have jump at it. Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah.
I
I've
did
sort
try it once, but somebody said about the clock ticking and concentrate on the clock ticking. And of course, that's the most annoying thing to me, so it didn't help.
yeah.
it's not every way I've gone into it, put it that way,
No.
Sarah. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Robbie would help you, and
He definitely would. He's definitely the man to go and see.
but yeah,
Right.
you're
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
yeah. So what are your up and coming plans then for Wandering Spirits?
Keep wandering. Just keep
wandering.
wandering.
Yeah.
Keep wandering. Keep exploring. Keep sensing. Keep experiencing, and keep growing. Really.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? What you think you get an answer to a question, and it's like, nah, it's
Yeah.
just
It
much
asks
more
more
in depth.
questions than it answers. Actually. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh,
100%.
so just another one with Paul Goddard. Wow, that's brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah, because a lot have done
Oh,
lives with
okay.
Paul
Yeah.
Goddard. I recorded mine
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
with Robbie Crossan, and will actually put it out there when I've got my head around it a bit.
Yeah.
It was a bit too heavy,
Yeah.
really. But yeah. So,
Mm.
favourite
Yeah.
place in
Yeah.
the UK?
You go
I'd have to
first, Chris.
say perhaps Guys Cliff for me. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Guys Cliff at Warwick. I've spent quite a few had quite a few sessions there. And there's a museum at Warwick as well. Is it St John's Museum or something?
Yeah.
Like
That's a very
interesting.
strange place. But yeah, it's yeah, boys. I don't know. And I must admit, HAPRC has always been a fascinating place. But
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah,
You don't know what's going to
really,
come through
really
or
weird.
at you or push you over
No.
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 Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Michelle nearly got pushed down the stairs. She's then in the main room and
Yeah.
basically got pushed to her knees. But it was
Yeah,
fine.
she did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one was injured during the experiences, and yeah, I've had
No.
some bad
Yeah.
Definitely not.
experiences.
No.
Well,
No.
that's the first place I've ever been where I've literally broken down in tears actually when
Oh,
Yeah.
that odd night we had there.
wow.
And normally I used to get quite affected by spirit, and I used to end up collapsing more than anything. But
Oh my god.
but I'm all right now. I've sort of got over that now, so
Yeah.
I can control it a bit better. But
Yeah.
I totally lost all control of my senses there
You
that
did.
night. I was just
You
I
did
was just
that
a blubbering
night, yeah.
wreck.
It was
Yeah,
mad, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
God.
yeah.
You were.
Sarah
were.
was so funny though. We're in the
Yeah.
seance room, and I think I was
Oh.
picking up on something. Sarah was
Oh,
picking up on something else, and she kept telling me off. She kept shouting at me and telling me to behave.
Oh, so Sarah was hilarious at some of them paranormal research centre things.
Oh, I've taken over completely. It's when my hand got stuck to my head that time, and I couldn't get it off.
Yeah,
And then I got,
that's right.
and then I got stuck to the table. Oh, for goodness sake!
Yeah.
What am I like?
But you never know what you're going to get when you get in there, do you?
You don't. No.
So tell her the past life regression with Paul as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my favourite place was Hill House in Ross on Wye.
Ah, you've stayed there.
We've stayed there a few times. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That
but
was
I've stayed there separately.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I think I went with Enigma. I think Sarah goes with Oracle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's the weirdest, strangest, most unusual place. But you have to be careful there because you can get harmed.
Okay.
Yeah. Either physically or mentally, really. It really does affect you. You see shadow figures all the time. People's whole personas change. It's really very powerful place, very powerful place.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Is it right by the river?
No, it's actually up on the hill. So yeah, it's up on the hill. You have to go up a
Howling Hill.
Yeah. But I've not been for quite a long time because the last time we went, I was going through a door with an SLS in my hand, and the door was pulled from the other side, and I fell through the door onto the top of the staircase, and that could have been quite nasty. And that door was pulled, and there was no light on the staircase, and there's always a light on the staircase. So I was a bit scared to go back after that.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I don't know.
There's Rocky for a special guest appearance.
What is it? Is it the land or something? Why do you think it's like that? Or the people who live there?
I think it's got a lot to do with the land.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I've seen some very big, horrible things in the woods.
Like what?
That like two-headed lion type creature that was pacing up and down the path. I've seen people stood out in the wood for hours, just waiting for things. Very, very strange place.
Yeah. So you two do pick up elementals. Until I went to Haunted Antiques, I never actually believed in them. But then I'd heard enough about them and also seen somebody when they actually saw them and weren't even aware of them existing. And people sort of encounter them quite a lot there. And yeah, wow. You saw that snake at Annesley Hall as well.
Absolutely,
yes. Yes, that was a very strange afternoon. That was.
And that was totally unplanned. So going to Haunted Antiques. So met you at Annesley Hall, didn't I? And then
absolutely, yeah.
And Ben Winfield joined us. He saw us on live, so he just came and joined us.
Yeah.
It's just random.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah.
And then we all went to the Battle Zone, didn't we?
Something very elemental about that place. Yeah.
Definitely. And portals. It's got a portal there that we've definitely a portal there. Yes, but Andy's a specialist on portals, aren't you, Andy? Yeah, you're always going off after looking for portals.
Yeah, Ben showed us where the portal is. So
yeah.
It's got a roof on it now, though. It looks beautiful. They're really doing it up. Yeah, at long last. It's got a beautiful new roof on it. So, yeah. It'd be lovely if we could open it up as something, if it was a hotel, could you imagine
Yeah.
it? Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Annesley Hall, like, if you're from Nottingham, that is the place, like, everybody just wants to go there. It's just been destroyed by 2 fires, basically, and left to rack and ruin after Nottinghamshire FA had it, and then it was bought. And but it's getting a roof on it, so I just
Good.
hope we can
Oh,
visit
good.
it properly
Good.
soon.
Yeah, about time. Yeah.
Yeah, because the churchyard's
Yeah.
good
Hopefully.
anyway, isn't it? But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
but that hall, it's something else.
Aye.
Obviously, it
I
won't
think
be the
I think
same
an
as
interesting
it was.
I think another interesting place we did was a couple of Halloweens ago, Sarah, weren't it? At Belper, the Belper Chapel.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely.
That
The
was
Baptist Church,
that
Baptist Chapel.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a very, very peculiar place. That we had
Church, wow.
we were seeing shadows all day long. Yeah, it's like a big chapel house, and there was a lot of people there. Picking up on there was a chap with us at the time. He was a total non-believer. He went out to the building one morning, and he was greeted by the spirit of a young man in World War One uniform, and it totally changed his life that day. But we had all sorts of very strange, peculiar incidents there. We had one session where something had literally turned the gas on the oven and
Oh yeah.
and turned the other oven on, which was electric. And lucky enough,
Oh God.
we managed to find out that gas was linking towards this electric oven. And I'm sure the people there, they didn't believe us when we said, well, we've not touched it,
No. No.
Oh, no.
We'd been down in the sauna all night, literally all
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the only
That would
reason
have
we
taken
knew
some
about this
explaining.
gas
yeah,
is because we'd gone upstairs to get a drink.
yeah,
So it was,
yeah.
but we literally sat in that sauna all night, didn't we, discussing
We did.
theories and this
Yeah,
and that and the other, and
yeah,
gosh, we were exhausted.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Sounds brilliant.
Oh God, yeah, yeah,
Have you heard
yeah.
about that champing, where you can
Yeah.
spend the night in a church?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's
Oh,
really
That would be
cheap
yeah.
and it's
amazing.
really affordable.
Aye.
But Andy won't go, and
All right.
we
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
we respect that. I
Yeah.
can't go with
Yeah.
Chris. You've got ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to go
I think
champing.
yeah, yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah,
sleep.
yeah. We've
And I wouldn't be
we always
drinking.
we always always get drawn towards churches wherever we go. That's
Yeah.
the same for some reason. There's something that always draws us into church, and and more often than not, we do get odd sensations in there, and think, oh yeah, there's definitely something here.
Yeah,
But aren't
definitely.
churches? But
Yeah.
churches are some of the oldest buildings we've got. We've got the castles,
Yeah,
which are really old, but then, a lot of the churches, like 1600s and stuff, aren't they? Or earlier,
yeah,
so there's a lot
I
of
And
would,
it's
I
architecture.
would
also
love to explore the church. It would be brilliant. I think the churches would be the best. I'm not used to castles.
yeah.
I want to,
yeah,
if I was to come back to paranormal, I'd want to more focus on church, because I think churches hold a lot more than what we know.
Yeah. I
plus it's
guess
the
they've had
ones they're built
a lot more
on.
life as well
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
castle. They've had
yeah,
it's people are constantly in there, aren't they, in churches, or they were in back in the day, sort
Yeah.
of thing. So it's been absorbing energy for hundreds of years, haven't the churches?
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
And
yeah.
every
And in
building
fact,
there is always a story.
yeah, absolutely. And we are all three of us are drawn to churches. We definitely are. We literally had to go to Chesterfield the other way, didn't we, Chris? And I said, oh, let's call in at that church. We didn't manage to get in it last time.
yeah.
And luckily
Old
for
Brampton.
us, Old Brampton, and luckily for us, we could get in. There was an organist in there playing, and his wife turned up, and she gave us a guided tour of this church. It was absolutely
Oh, how lovely.
Oh
fascinating,
wow.
It was.
Yeah.
especially when she said, and we do the choir practice every Thursday, and she said we can guarantee that door, front door, I'm calling it a front door.
Yeah.
The handle rattles every single time we practice,
Yeah.
and there's
Oh,
nobody
brilliant.
there.
That's
Oh, wow.
cool.
And she
Yeah.
did that
And
unprompted. She just said, she said,
and it came from the old Derwent Hall Chapel,
yeah,
which is let me think, about 2 miles from where I'm sat now. And
Wow.
absolutely.
Wow.
when they flooded the village Derwent and Ashipton to make
Oh,
the
that's
Lady
so
Bow
I
Reservoir,
cool.
totally agree with you.
they literally took the door off the old chapel, and for some reason it got down there to Old Brampton.
It did.
Wow.
Oh wow.
It did, and they
Yeah.
managed to adjust it. They had to adjust it so it'd fit into the church, which was
Oh,
fascinating.
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
So
Yeah.
whether it was
And
something that had come with the door, probably.
yeah, sounds like it, doesn't it?
I would
Yeah.
totally love to explore, see your wee churches, no like your big churches, no like Rosalind Chapel, your wee churches that are out in the middle of nowhere. That's
Yeah.
your,
Yeah.
I would
That's what
say
you want.
where the activity would be. No, your churches like Rosalind and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two around There's two in Nottinghamshire. So, both about one's 20 minutes away, which is the Annesley Hall, and then the other's the other side of Nottingham. But there's two
Yeah,
around me, which are like, yeah, I haven't been to the other one, but I ought to.
we
But
go to every single we end up in a church. But Andy's just reminded me that we went to the cathedral at Sheffield
oh
one
wow.
time, and I actually got punched in there.
Yeah.
Oh
By
wow.
spirit.
Yeah. So, and poor Andy had to take this thing off me because I felt really sick, didn't I? So you never know when things are going to happen. This is it. You can be
That's
walking out to your car and see something, or you can be sat watching the television and you sense something. You never know when it's going to happen. And we're big believers in not, we go out during the day. We're always out during the day. You get as much during the day as you do at night.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting to go on stage, so
Definitely.
where I performed the play this week, spent most of the week there, and I was just waiting to go on stage, and it's Methodist church, so you get the church bit. There's like a room with a kitchen, and then you've got a little corridor. Which, from the day I saw that corridor, I didn't like it, and that's before I did all this spiritual stuff to the level I do it now. And when I went on stage, I don't know, there's something didn't feel right. But as I was waiting to go on stage on, I think the first night, I felt something messing with my hair. And then I heard like a little tiny stone being thrown. So I thought, no, what are you doing here? I'm going to go on stage now. So whether it's just a
Yeah.
family member going, yeah, you can do it. But yeah, it's cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm reading Michelle's comment.
Yeah, so
That,
heads up, Leicester Cathedral, Leicester University Archaeology. We're running free guided walks. Oh wow. I'd heard about that actually, yeah. Because obviously they found
Oh.
Richard under there, didn't they? Oh, nice
Yeah,
one. Thanks for that. Well,
Yeah.
I'll definitely,
yeah,
I'll
It
need to
was
look
it
at
was
yeah,
that.
well,
about under a car park, weren't you, Richard?
yeah, and
yeah,
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 they found like loads more bodies, which is cool.
yeah.
So
Crikey.
The
Yeah.
church it works with is the same. The church at Worksworth, it was hundreds and thousands of bones there, aren't there, Chris, underneath the floor?
There are.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's literally raised the ground up about 6 or 7 foot higher than it was originally, sort of thing. So the graveyard it works with now, it's just literally right up and over the door of the church, sort of thing. It's
Oh
but yeah,
wow.
it's really really old place. But that was an Anglo-Saxon burial ground there as well. So they've been burying people there since the 600s.
It's just churches, Leslie. We started off about Annesley Hall and then sort of got talking and then just fascinated by what you can get around the churches.
Oh,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Leicester Cathedral are doing some tours where you can go with the archaeology group. So yeah, I'm interested in that.
I must admit, I love Leicester. Actually, that was the one city I really look forward to going to, doing ghost hunts and things there. It was it's
God.
a fascinating city. It really is. It's lovely and small. It's not much bigger than Derby, really. So it's Belgrave Hall. I had a really strange
I haven't
experience
been. I want
there
to
and
go
all.
there.
Yeah,
What happened
that
there
is
then?
worth going. Well, that was where I don't know if you remember that that night. I poured coffee over myself, and Michelle sent you that.
Yes.
She sent you a message saying,
Yeah.
well, prior to that, I'd been upstairs in one of the bedrooms, and I'd seen a fox outside, and it was quite quiet in the bedroom. There wasn't a lot happening. It was a strange little room. It was it got like a little washroom to the right of it, and this funny little strange doll in there, and I saw this fox outside, and I just says, "Oh, there's fox, look," and everybody looked out of the window, and I suddenly made me turn round, and I turned round, and peering round the corner from this little washroom was this little blue-faced boy, and I went, bleeding. And it shut me up quite a bit, actually. I was quite shook up by that side. And this little it was like a little boy. He got like a long nightgown thing on, but his face was totally blue. And I thought, oh my God, and it really shook me up. And immediately went downstairs, sat down with the coffee, totally missed my mouth, and just poured the coffee over me.
Oh my God.
Over me clothes.
How's that possible, Chris?
I know. And that was Belgrave Hall. So that was.
Oh God.
Well, it was a strange encounter, that, and then the week, was it the week before or the week after, I went to the 1620 house with Haunted Heritage, and I saw something very strange going up that staircase in there as well. That was like a Victorian lady in a lovely yellow dress with she had ringlets and everything, and but she sort of come up the stairs, and the first thing that came into my head was, I hope she doesn't turn around and look at me. So yeah, so that was a very strange. I think that was the October just before COVID, I think.
Oh gosh.
And then of course everything went mad. Then you got something over your shoulder, Jacqueline.
Yeah. Yawning.
It just wasn't.
Oh right. Yeah, he wants attention.
Yeah. That staircase is very, very weird, Michelle. Yeah.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thanks.
Yeah, but when we went to Smethwick Baths, Chris, that was insane.
Oh yes,
wasn't it?
that was a very good night. That was yeah.
Oh wow.
But yeah, and the next day, when I was making my way home, I found another place there. I can't remember for the life of me what it was called. It was something down at Edgbaston. It's in the museum.
All right.
And not the museum. It's the university, Birmingham University.
Okay.
And it's like a museum of building. It's 1920s house.
Cool.
I totally forgot what it were, but I had a really pleasant experience in there, actually. One of the rooms, I literally saw something walk across the bedroom while I was in there, and it's totally gone out of my head what it's called. It's
You'll be shouting out your sleep tonight, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll come back in. That's what happens to me. I forget things, and then about half an hour later, it comes into my head, and I'm going, "That's it." But yeah,
You've
but
also
yeah.
between you've had some crazy experience with rocks off beaches. What can I say? She got this
Well,
rock, didn't you?
Sarah has anyway. I picked a very strange rock up on
Oh, bless you, definitely, Justin.
on Win Hill, yeah, Win Hill in the Peak District, and literally carried it all the way back. I was quite attached to it for a while.
Wow.
Lucky enough, Sarah's adopted it, so
That's
so I can.
Yeah.
We
She
can't
doesn't.
leave a rock. We can't leave a rock
No,
behind. Chris, I've picked some
definitely not.
up to make pendulums.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Mrs. Pendulums are brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm slowly breaking myself out of the habit, but
yeah.
Oh wow.
but,
Well, that sounds good.
yeah.
Yew Tree Hall near Edgbaston, Smethwick.
It
I've got an
does
issue going
actually.
to Birmingham now because my
Oh,
car's a
yeah,
diesel.
That's an interesting one.
So I've got a dodgy diesel car and
yeah.
I can't go anywhere near Birmingham, so I don't know how it works.
Oh, yes, yeah. I remember you having trouble that
Yeah.
night at Smithy, weren't you? Yeah.
Oh
Nice.
no, that was fine. But now I'm not allowed in Birmingham unless you pay £8, I think,
Oh, right. Oh, I'm
because of
with you.
the
Yeah.
diesel. Yeah.
Oh well.
So,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
and
'cause
the thing is about Smethwick Baths, it's a fantastic location, and with them holding some sort of games in that area, they've got a new stadium, so they're probably going to be demolishing the old Smethwick Baths.
oh no.
And basically, it's
Oh,
got so much
crikey.
history, and a lot of the bands in the
Yeah.
70s played there because where the
Mm.
pool is, they drain the water out and use that as a like stage area and stuff. So it's absolutely
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, there you go. Yeah, find £200 for a diesel.
Really?
Can I just ask why? Because
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm from Scotland, right? So I don't get that one. Why you would be fined?
Diesel, because they've got this clean air zone. So if you've got a diesel car, you've got to pay £8 to go into the city. So I don't know where the
Good
boundary
Lord.
is
What is this in
in
Birmingham?
Birmingham. And they're doing it in
Wow.
Bristol as well. So I was recently in Bristol and they're going to introduce it later on in the year. But
Oh,
I had to drive right
bloody
through
hell.
Bristol just to get to Glastonbury.
I'm glad I'm not the
Mm.
only one, Leslie. I thought I was hearing things there. I was like that. I didn't quite get what you were getting at there until obviously Michelle said Jill got fined £200 for diesel car. But I'm sorry, but how does it help the ozone layer?
No idea.
No,
Like,
it's just tax,
it's
isn't it? Like any
it
other.
actually seems like it's just another, like
Yeah, it is.
obviously
Yeah.
a money making scheme.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing because obviously, like, I don't know where Smethwick
Local
Bath sits,
governments.
and you follow your sat nav, and if it takes you through Birmingham City, absolutely, oh
Mm.
no, that's the location in the zone, you see. But how do you know when you're in the zone? You're going to get a sign, and by then you're on a road. What are you going to do? You can't do U-turn in
Mm.
traffic, can you?
No.
That's
Like
crazy.
you just probably get a sign going,
No.
"What's its zone?" and you're screwed because they've got ANPR on. Getting your license plate, that's it. Boom,
Yeah, that's it.
£200.
I
So,
definitely like
Yeah.
AJ's comment. I would love that definitely, AJ.
oh no,
Um,
we ought to.
but
We should plan something for next year. Just see what we can do.
oh, there's
Oh,
my
Rosie,
co-host.
hiya. How you
Hey,
doing?
Rose.
Oh, sorry, Leslie. I don't know what's going on. It looks clear from what we're doing, but I don't know. There have been some problems with
I
StreamYard,
can't
haven't
hear.
there? On and off. I
Uh,
know Chris has gone a bit random.
And I've been booted off it twice.
Yeah, that's it. It's
I don't know if you're talking to me. I can't hear.
Oh no, Chris can't hear us. So what shall we say about Chris though? Chris is the most amazing bloke. Okay, he's the only person I know who will book a ghost hunt investigation and get there on public transport and by walking.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what time it finishes. And it's just mad now. Me
In
and
his
Chris
suit and his tie.
in his suit and tie, yeah. And
Yeah.
I would
And-
say
I've lost my
Chris is the
signal.
only man that I know that misses his mouth with coffee.
but the first time I think I met Chris was at the most epic ghost hunter ever. And I think the first time I met Chris was at Tutbury Castle. So he has got an answer. I'm sure he'll
Well
be
and
back.
truly.
I'm sure he'll sort it.
Is that his
So-
light bulb?
I don't know. There we go. We found it.
He's got a light bulb in it.
I first met Chris.
He's
at
done so well
Tutbury.
to come this far in the show and then start having technical problems. They're usually at the beginning.
Yeah, we've done well. So I met Chris at Tutbury. We met in the pub before. A few of us met in the pub before we went to the castle, and he got this wonderful jacket with amazing pattern. It's like a dinner jacket, wasn't it? Or a
Yeah.
study jacket, which Gentry wore, and it's beautiful, you know.
Oh, he's
I've
gone.
Oh no, he's gone. Oh,
Aw.
talking about him. Oh no, I'm
Don't.
sorry.
Oh, bless.
And it's got this lovely jacket, and it's got like gold ornate and patterns on it. And the wallpaper in the pub sort of really went well with it. So I got Chris to stand with the wallpaper, and I was crying. And it was the first time I actually met Chris. I don't know where Chris has gone.
I think, to be honest, his headphones stopped working and he's probably signal died. I don't know if that's just StreamYard the night that it's playing up.
Yeah, but Chris has done well because I don't even know if he's on. Oh, he's back. Wait a minute. Just wait for his device. He hasn't got his sound. Oh God, he hasn't got sound. You two carry on talking then, and I'll.
All right.
So, Sarah, how long have you been doing the paranormal for?
How long? For about 6 years now.
6 years.
So yeah. So my first investigation was at Alton Towers.
Oh, I love Alton Towers. I've been there, and do you know, me and my partner went there for our first anniversary. That was my choice, and I am so delighted, like with geography. I've always been delighted with geography, and I actually booked next to Stoke Stadium. I'd actually booked a Premier Inn at next to Stoke Stadium, so you can imagine my partner's face when he seen all these football fans coming across the bridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went to Alton Towers, and I just absolutely, it wasn't even so much the rides, it was exploring that church. It was absolutely brilliant. See, just being able to walk round and go up the stairs.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And as a venue, it is good.
I think I'm back.
Oh,
I'm back. Can you hear me?
yes, Chris.
See, that was a nice celebration for me, my twin.
I couldn't. I don't know what happened. It just all went quiet, and I couldn't get anybody to hear me. So.
But yeah, Alton Towers is really good. My partner, I was telling him about the thing like the cable car, and he actually thought I was joking when I said I was terrified of heights until we got on the cable car. And he says, "Oh, look at the views down below," and I was like, absolutely petrified of heights, but don't get me wrong, I love things that throw me up in the air.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's gone wrong with Chris. I think.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think I'm back on now.
Can you sort your headphones out, Chris?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
You're echoing.
Yes, Chris.
Good. I'm back then.
Leslie will get double the Scottish accent.
Yes, absolutely. Andy says it's a lovely accent, Lois.
Oh, thank you very much. It's Ayrshire.
I'm from Borders.
Oh, he says he's front borders.
Oh, bless you. I found out how to stop the echo. No, I haven't. If I give Chris's sound back, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, I can
Still
hear you.
now, Jackie.
So we've
dear.
got an extra 4 guests tonight.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
At least it's
Can
at the
you
end
see
of the
me
show
mirror?
and no at the start.
Can you see me mirror behind me?
Yeah.
Yes.
That mirror, I bought that mirror at the Regent's cinema in Blackpool. It's I was there with Supernatural Events in Blackpool, and this mirror, it was on the stairs down from the old auditorium as you go down towards the cellar, and something literally jumped out of it, and I was thinking all night long. I was thinking, I've got to have that mirror. So I went back next morning and bought it from the place. I brought it back on the train all the way from Blackpool to Bamford, and it's never done a thing since. It's never produced any paranormal activity again since. So.
What a waste of money, Chris.
Yeah, it was expensive. You know, it was about £60. and they got some very, very strange looks and all on the train coming home with it, didn't they? But yeah, but that's a really haunted place. If you ever get a chance to go there, actually, the Regency cinema at Blackpool. That's very, very entertaining place that is. So yeah, haunted projectionists and all the lot.
Oh wow.
Sounds really good. Good night, AJ.
Right, AJ. Right. I want to thank you anyway for coming on the show. We have got technical issues. And thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for sharing and asking questions. Thank you, Lois, Chris, Sarah. Anything to add, Lois?
I've had a great ball, even the 4 years. Well, 8 years. Bye, Andy.
Bye.
Go Andy.
Stay safe.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, good.
Thanks,
Good night.
Chris, Sarah, Andy.
Yes, it's all right. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, everyone.
Love you,
Take
Leslie.
care.
Bye.
Bye.